Hello everyone, and welcome to another Company Heroes 2 replay cast. My name is ATR, and today we're going to have ourselves a 1v1 on Langreskaya. Our heroes today are going to be Obscura, playing for the Germans, and his opponent is going to be none other than Imperial Dane, playing for the Soviets of the Red Army. So this should be a pretty good matchup, in case you didn't know for some reason. I mean, Imperial Dane is a very prominent player and caster of Company Heroes 2. You can look him up, Imperial Dane, and you're going to find him in YouTube. He does daily casts with a lot of historical knowledge, and he's a pretty awesome guy. So yeah, check him out if you want. As far as ranking goes, though, Imperial Dane is pretty good. I mean, he's a top 100 player. His Soviet play that we're seeing right now is actually ranked 64th, and his German play is 78. Obscura, however, is no scrub himself, and this might be a tough match for Imperial Dane, as Obscura is currently ranked 37 for his Soviet play, and his German play that we're seeing right now is actually ranked 9th. So top 10 player right here, so should be a good one. As far as build goes, or well, not build, bulletins, since nothing is happening just yet, Imperial Dane is getting the 5% cooldown and the 3% accuracy for his conscripts, and also building mines 10% faster. From his cast, I know that Imperial Dane is a big fan of mines, so we'll probably see a lot of usage of that in this game. And for Obscura, it looks like he's just buffing his Grenadiers. We got 5% cooldown, we got the 3% accuracy, and the 2-2 split just for Grenadiers. So yeah, a little bit basic there to buff your mainline infantry. So very nice. Tech-wise, we got Tier 1 for Obscura, going 2 Grenadiers into an MG42. We see the MG42 coming on the field right now. Very nice. And for Imperial Dane, no tech, just going for conscripts and getting 3 conscripts, 4th conscripts actually. 4th one would be running down the road right now, probably this one or the other side. No, other side, right there. There they go. So very nice. We hear an engagement. Looks like it's over here on the left-hand side. Conscripts popping into the house to see what they can actually spot. They spot some Grenadiers and an MG42. Grenadiers set themselves up in heavy cover. Back off a little bit into further heavy cover, back off, and the MG42 packs up and moves out of the way. Not exactly sure where it's going to be set up. Over on the far right, we have a Pio squad running into some conscripts. The conscripts, well, they will win that fight very easily. Pios have no direct support right now. We see another Grenadier squad on the field for Obscura coming in to support, but the Pios will not be relieved in time, so they'll have to retreat. And there they go. Grenadiers move in that direction, but they do have a tough fight as there are a conscript squad and a combat engineer, although the combat engineers for Imperial Dane are retreating, as he's probably going to be building some tech, which is the only reason I would assume he retreats like that. More conscripts coming into this side. Left-hand side, still the Grenadiers and conscripts duking it out at far range. House and heavy cover, so nothing much going on. And on the far north, we have a conscript squad and a Grenadier squad duking it out. Conscripts beaten and down to 2 men forced to retreat, because the Grenadiers had the aid of an MG42. Center point is still going on, and on the far right we see the conscripts going into enemy territory, and we see the MG42, Grenadiers, and Pios moving in this direction to support. Up at his base, Imperial Dane is going Tier 1, so yeah, that's why he retreated that combat engineer squad at full health. And well, we'll see what he gets. Scout cars and snipers would probably be the bigger choice. I'm not exactly sure if we're going to see penal battalions, but it's also a possibility. Mortar on the field for Obscura. He wanted to dislodge that conscript squad from the house, and he does so in this way. We see a doctrine selection for Obscura, and that is the Joint Operations Doctrine, which allows him to call in the artillery field officer, which is nice because he already has a mortar on the field, so nice little synergy there that he gets. Far right-hand side, Grenadiers going for the cap of the strategic point. We have conscripts taking position of that house. Mortar is on the other side of the map, and ooh, we see Imperial Dane going for partisan tactics and calling in a partisan squad right inside that house. Partisans are very weak troops. They have very low amounts of health. They actually have an upgrade that I believe brings their health in line with a conscript squad, but it's still, you know, very low. You can see them actually dying in the house. However, the essentially special ability for partisans is that they can get called in anywhere. Inside of houses. I mean, anywhere in the map that you have houses. So we see that Imperial Dane has called one in here and just holding the line. He called another one in at some point over here. So must have popped in this house. And there they go. These are actually women, and they have PPSHs. And they're running in to engage. They managed to get a nice flank on that artillery field officer, forcing it away as the other partisans held the house. So it allows you quite a versatile strategy as far as being able to get troops behind enemy lines, in fact, because, I mean, your enemy could be right here and you call in partisans here and, you know, surprise them from behind. So very nice. Scout car on the field for Imperial Dane. He gets a combat engineer with a flamethrower in it. Quite a potent little harassing unit. Pulls up all the way into the front of the base. Takes the flamethrower to the face of the MG and takes a couple shots, taking some damage. And it's just going to retreat. Mortar shots flying in its direction, but it looks like it's going to be fine. The mortar's actually hitting somewhere else. It looks like into the center. And the conscripts for Imperial Dane are just moving around, capturing territory. Partisans trying to capture that munitions, it looked like. They're just getting shot up very quickly, down to one man. I'm pretty sure, I mean, I don't actually know the exact value of health, but I'm pretty sure that they might actually have less health than even, what are they called? The ones for the Germans? The Ostruppen. So, yeah, I mean, they're very weak. They're not mainline infantry at all. They're just used for the surprise factor, I suppose. Conscript squad getting assaulted by pretty much everything. That's 3 grants, an artillery field officer, and even an MG-42. Down to 3 men on the retreat. Will run through the path of fire of the MG-42. MG-42 opens up at the last remaining guy as he runs away. Can he make it out? Looks like he will. Wow, very lucky there. Over at the base, scout car goes in for the harass, gets right on top of the mortar, and clears out the mortar. Very nice harass there for Imperial Dane, going behind the lines as all the troops are a little bit further up north. Keeps his distance from the grenadiers, and the conscripts are being used to cap. Mortar now out of the picture means that he does not have that indirect fire to worry about. At least for now. I mean, it is right in front of the base, so I'm sure Obscura will be able to recap it very quickly. Tier 2 going down for Obscura. He's probably going to be getting himself a scout car to counter this guy, I would assume. Half-track would also not be a terrible choice, especially since you've seen that it is partisans. Obviously, there are partisan tank hunters that he has to worry about, but, you know, no guards or anything that would be able to pop into this scout car that would be able to combat a one-on-one, but we'll see. Tier 3 going down for Imperial Dane. Very nice. And also, keep in mind that Imperial Dane with this doctrine has essentially those map hacks. He has the radio intercept, which means he's going to get a notification of things that are getting produced by his enemy. And if you see the 4th skill, which isn't available just yet, but once it is, if you ever see it, you know, brighten, it means that he is able to see the enemies in the minimap. So, you know, he's utilizing in-game legitimate hacks. Anyways, Grenadiers in the front of the base trying to keep that scout car out of there. It's being quite annoying. Mortar did get recovered and is currently getting healed up. And the shots are going to start flying. Scout car going for a little bit of a strafing run right on top of the MG. Faust goes off, takes care of the scout car, and the flamethrower engineer is now right in front of that MG. I don't think he might live. No, they're pretty healthy. There they go. Mortar actually ends up hitting its own troops, as there were troops right next to it. And yeah, it makes it out. So not a bad, not really that bad of a trade there for Imperial Dane. Nice little flank here on the left side by Partisans, getting on top of that MG-42. That is exactly what you want to use them for. Like I said, not mainline infantry, but they can really get a nice flank going. They are now getting shot up by everything, Grenadiers and the base sector MGs. Down to 2 men on the retreat, but it looks like they make it out. We also see that Partisans are able to lay down mines, and they did, and then proceeded to retreat. So it allows you to sneak in there and get some mines all over the place. Unfortunately, since we're not looking at Imperial Dane, we're not going to get a notification when a mine is built, so it's going to be hard to actually keep track of where the mines are getting laid down, but, well, they are getting laid down, so we'll see. Grenadiers for Obscura moving to the left-hand side, trying to recover that fuel. Up in the center, we have a Pio squad running into some, well, a lot of troops. 2 conscripts and a combat engineer. No MG-42 nearby to support it. It's all the way back at base, so it'll take a while. But a Panzer Grenadier squad is getting produced for Obscura to try to fight those troops. And especially if that Panzer Grenadier squad can catch a Partisan squad out of position, it'll rip it to shreds very quickly. Grenadier is going to be running into a Combat Engineer squad and some conscripts. So very nice for Imperial Dane. This is actually keeping most of his troops supported. You don't see his troops coming in piecemeal, like one by one or on its own. He sends 2 on the right, 2 on the left, 1 through the center, just going for the point. But yeah, on the right-hand side, one squad, conscript squad, ends up getting caught by the MG-42, forced to retreat. But we now have a T-70 on the field for Imperial Dane, and Obscura has nothing on the field to fight against it. Grenz can throw some Faust, and that is about it. Panzer Grenadier squad, oh no, getting caught right in a very bad spot here by the T-70. The Grenadier squad is moving in to try to get a Faust, but yeah, the Panzer Grenadiers turn around and get into the defensive radius of their Grenadiers. So very nice. Obscura does a little bit of damage at range. T-70 not managing to hit anything, unfortunately. And the Panzer Grenadiers now have Panzer Shreks, and there they go. Nice shot. Hits the T-70 down to about 25% health, forces it to back off, and will have to get repaired before it even sees any more of the battlefield. So, nice little neutralizing there of that unit. Partisans moving out together. We have apparently no medics for Imperial Dane, so his troops are coming out a little bit damaged. So, he's not being able to get a lot of as much out of them as he would want. I mean, like I said, Partisans are very weak already, so they don't take many shots to die, and if they're not healed, they're not going to last very long in the engagements, which is unfortunate for now, but I suppose he does not have the manpower to spare just yet. Combat Engineer squad on the left-hand side getting forced away by a big amount of troops here by Obscura. I mean, those are 2 Grenz, a Panzer Grenadier squad, and a Pioneer squad with Minesweepers. Engaging against 1 Combat Engineer, doing a lot of damage, forcing them to retreat. Conscript squad also trying to stop them, and the T-34 moves in now to try to stop the advancing troops. There is, however, a Panzer Grenadier squad right there with a Shrek. However, Obscura decides to retreat it. Retreats also his Grenadier squad, and and well, the Pio squad is also retreating. I'm not exactly sure why he retreated like that. I mean, the Panzer Grenadiers were at 4 men and they could have made it out, but maybe he didn't like the engagement. He wanted a more favorable engagement. I don't know. It was kind of weird. I mean, I think the Panzer Grenadiers could have at least gotten in range to throw a barrage off at the T-34 and then retreated, but I don't know. Anyways, outside of the base, we see Imperial Dane coming down with everything he's got. T-70, T-34, and all the troops moving in. Nice barrage there by the Shreks, hitting that T-70, doing a lot of damage, down to about 10% health at most. Conscripts and Combat Engineers on the right-hand side getting bombarded by the mortar, forced away, and the Panzer Grenadiers are getting shot at by everything. Another T-70 on the field for Imperial Dane. Takes a barrage, but the Shreks end up missing this time, and they get a little bit of a forced retreat. Not too damaged, but yeah. T-34 on the left-hand side just backs off as the troops were forced to back away. And on the far right-hand side, the Partisans are just moving around in unison, just capturing. Another Partisan squad getting called in. Ooh, nice little sneaky move there by Imperial Dane. Calls it into the shack over here, brings it out, and is going to try to cap that fuel. It's going to be very annoying for Obscura because he can continuously do that. The Partisans are not too expensive. I mean, they aren't free, obviously, but, you know, you can kind of afford to do that for a little while. More troops moving out of the base for Obscura. Do we have medics back at base now for Imperial Dane? No, not yet. Okay. Looks like Imperial Dane has purchased the health upgrade for the Partisans that he already has. The ones over here do not have the health upgrade, and we see 2 Grand Squads moving in their direction. So these lovely ladies are going to take a lot of damage. So there they go on the retreat. I do not think they're actually going to make it out of there, undamaged. Well, they make it out, all 4 of them, but they did take a lot of damage. What weapon do these have? Because oh wait, I can't actually follow them in the retreat. Never mind. Pack on the field, getting surprised here by a Partisan squad in the behind them. These ones come out with PPSHs, so that is very unfortunate here for Obscura. Forces his Pack on to move away. The PPSHs continue to shoot at the troops inside. More troops jumping into houses. Conscripts on here. On the far right-hand side, we have a big engagement here by tanks, conscripts, and combat engineers. The T-70s are moving in. Shrek's flying. T-70 taking quite a bit of damage. Panzer Grenadier Squad down to 1 man. Oh, gets eliminated by the T-70s. The Panzer Shrek is dropped. Can the artillery field officer pick it up? It does not look like it can. Down goes the artillery field officer. Wow, that is a big blow here by Imperial Dane. Picks up that Shrek. Shoots at the wrong T-70. Would have been able to shoot at the other one if he had targeted, so that it would have gotten at least a kill on one of the tanks. But he can throw a Faust if he wants to. There goes the shot. Abandons the T-70. Grenadier Squad, however, gets annihilated as well. Wow, that is a lot of damage taken for Obscura. Grand Squad forced to retreat. The T-70 still in the base. Or, well, in front of the base, I should say. And the mortar is also forced to back off. Partisans moving in. We do have a Pack gun and a T-70 that got abandoned. Unfortunately for Obscura, it did not get a kill. And the Partisans are running straight at it to try to pick it up. They do get it. It has a destroyed engine, so it's going to very slowly move out of the way, but... well, that is shots that are flying in the direction for Obscura, and Obscura is in a very difficult situation. He did build himself tier 3, however, and is getting a Panzer IV, which is coming on the field right now. This might be exactly what he needs. It is, in fact, what he needs, although the Pack gun has been stolen. The troops in it are very low in health. You can see that. That is 3 men with about 10% health in total. So the Panzer IV should be able to do very quick work of them. However, it will take a lot of damage, as it is currently facing the gun of the Pack gun. Down goes one of the T-70s. The Pack gun manages to get another shot in. Oh, that is quite unfortunate. Marked vehicle? Yeah, I believe it is marked vehicle that they have, right? Yeah, marked vehicle going down on that Panzer IV. The Pack gun, well, it doesn't even matter if it's a Pack gun. These are tank hunters with Shreks, and they take out that Panzer IV very quickly. Tank hunters can appear with either Shreks or PTRS rifles, like the guards. So, yeah, I mean, those are very nice. And as well, you can just call them into any building, which Imperial Dane did right here. Fortunately, though, I did not notice that this happened when I was recording, so you can see there that the overlay is a little bit broken, and we can't see that all the units. But, oh well, just, you know that he has a lot of units on the field right now. Imperial Dane is essentially dominating right now. Has so many troops on the field that he has full map control. He has conscripts and combat engineers just being used to cap behind. Mines getting laid down by a one-man Partisan squad that is still alive. T-34s barreling down into the base of Obscura. Obscura lost his Panzer IV. He has a Pack gun that he built, which is coming onto the field right now, so he might be able to keep those T-34s at bay. T-34 up in the, well, not up in the north, but, up over here has a damaged engine, so that Pack gun might be able to take it out if it doesn't get out of there quickly. However, the T-34 is now right behind this Pack gun. The Pack gun getting annihilated. Not in range of any of the bases, it looks like, to be able to reinforce. T-34 moves around, gets another flank on the gun. The gun cannot reinforce just yet. Down it goes. So I think this is it. I don't see Obscura coming back from this. Imperial Dane right on top of his base. Shots continue to fly. He merges Grenadier Squad on the Pack gun. The Pack gun continues to get taken out. It is shooting at the T-34 up in the north, so it might be able to take it out before this T-34 can bring it down to a sliver of health. But down goes the Pack gun once again before it's able to finish it off. MG-42 also getting annihilated. Ren's getting reinforced. Pio squads moving up on the T-34. T-34 does have a damaged engine as it got Fausted, but is now crushing the Pios as they try to move into range to get that AT gun. Faust goes off on one of the Gren squads, killing one of the T-34. Second T-34 still in the base, very low in health, however, but it is doing massive amounts of damage here, and Imperial Dane is just building himself another one. You see that a squad got killed at some point for Imperial Dane, probably a Partisan squad, as the overlay is no longer broken. Pack gun gets recrewed once again by the Pios, it looks like, and the T-34 gets its weapon destroyed. It's trying to crawl out of the base, but Imperial Dane notices, no, I'm not really going to be able to do that. Down it goes, and, well, Obscura manages to hold on, but, well, this point, he has no territory left. We have Partisan supported by conscripts moving down. LOL, says Obscura. He knows that this is it. Or probably it, but yeah. 183 points left for Obscura with a triple cap against him. Imperial Dane sitting at 480. Imperial Dane questions what the LOL was. MG42 forced to retreat. Pio squad forced to retreat as well. Ooh, down to one man as it runs through the fire. That was very unfortunate. More manpower loss there. And on the far left-hand side, a Grand Squad goes for the decap of that victory point, trying to slow down the ticking. Skuda says that this is hectic. And Imperial Dane says SJ. Not exactly sure what that means. So, I don't know. Whatever. Tier Field Officer being called in by Obscura. Yeah, I guess it's fine. It doesn't really make much of a difference. Grenadier Squad is the same cost. This one comes in instantly, so I suppose it's fine. Artillery Field Officer moving over to the left-hand side, trying to get that victory point. The victory point is decapped, so at least it is a 2-point bleed, not a 3-point bleed for Obscura. But he does go there. More mines laying down all over the place for Imperial Dane, using his Partisans to lay down even more mines. However, they are getting shot at by the Artillery Field Officer, so these Partisans might end up getting killed. Though they managed to pretty much dodge every shot. Down goes the last, well, one of them. The last one ends up retreating, and the mine does not get completed. Ooh, that's unfortunate there for Imperial Dane. Grenadiers move up. Partisans trying to hold him. Oh, a nice hit there by the mortar. Takes out a Partisan squad almost completely. The last man remaining does not even move and gets shot by the Grens. A little bit too courageous there for his own good. And, well, Obscura is still not dead. 130 points left on his side. And he is starting to move out and recapture territory, but we still have so many troops. Although, well, I mean, a lot of the troops, I mean, those are 4 Partisan squads on the field right now for Imperial Dane. And, you know, aside from the initial impact of popping into the field behind the lines, they're not too strong. So we'll see. Combat Engineer squad over here. Oh my god, look at all those mines by Imperial Dane. Just laid down all over the place. Anything moving in this direction is just going to get wrecked. More mines, more mines. Wow. He's investing all his... Jeez. This mine didn't get completed, but we still have a mine right there. A mine over here. Mine right... Wow. Well... I did say he was a fan of mines, right? Dang. Okay, so Obscura looks like he's just trying to regroup. He did manage to capture that victory point, so he has stopped the bleed at well, not stop the bleed, but stop or reduce the bleeding to just one point per tick. So he's bought himself a little bit of time. Building he has 2 pack guns on the field, so he can keep those tanks at bay. Getting more Grand Squads just to replace his combat infantry. Artillery Field Officer moves up and looks at, well, the line of Soviet forces, just holding him in his place. Shots fly off from the mortar and the pack gun, and the T-34 moves out of the way as it does not want to get hit. Pack gun backs off and sets up in a nice angle. Where's the second pack gun? That's over here on the left-hand side. MU-42 covering this approach. And the minesweepers for Obscura are actually doing a lot of work, as there's a lot of mines there, and they managed to clear out a few of them. The mine over here still left intact, and Imperial Dane finishes the mine over here as it was not fully built the last time. Partisans running into some Grents, just getting completely wrecked by them. Down to 1 man on the retreat. The Grenadier squad does not manage to get the kill, however. But yeah, I mean, those 4 troops... like I said, they're not mainline troops. They're not going to be able to do a lot. They run straight into an MG42. Partisan squad down to 2 men, trying to crawl through it. Forced to retreat. Grand squads are shooting them on the retreat. Can they get the kill here? Down to 1 man. There it goes. Partisan squad is eliminated. Molotov is landed by the Partisan ladies, but the Partisan ladies are having to retreat again through the Grand squads. They are at 3 men, however, so I think they'll make it out. Grand squads are as well moving, so it does not look like they're going to be able to get some good hits in. And yeah, that squad does make it out. But now Imperial Dane is down to 3 Partisan squads. Left-hand side, Grenadier squad. It looks like they ran into a mine. Yeah, it looks like they might have ran into a mine and get blown up, almost gets killed, forced away. And tier 4 is now down for Imperial Dane. So instead of building more tanks, he goes for tier 4 and maybe what? Katusha? Trying to break the lines that Obscura is trying to set up? I don't know. We'll see. More mines all over the place. Mortar shots just flying. Where's it flying, though? Into the... okay, that's a very nice decision there by Obscura. He's shooting right here into the choke point to try to blow up any mines, because he knows Imperial Dane is using a lot of mines, and that means that, you know, the most popular spots, you know, especially choke points, are probably going to be mines, so he's just shooting in there and getting some detonations. Pioneer squad with sweepers moves up, gets right on top of everything, and sees a lot of mines getting laid down. They run straight at it. Molotov being tossed at the MG42. MG42 forced to back off. Conscript squad takes a direct shot there by the pack gun. Second pack gun getting a little bit flanked by a T-34, but there is a second pack gun behind it for support. Takes a nice shot at that T-34. T-34 going to try to back off. Gets fausted. Shot goes off by the pack gun, and nice kill there for Obscura. Very nice bait there with this pack gun as it moved up. T-34 could not resist the chance to get behind it, but there was a second pack gun lying in wait. Grenadier squad moves over here, runs into a combat engineer squad on the retreat. Can he make it out? I think he will. Yeah, he's rather healthy and he's not as weak as a partisan, so he'll make it out. And we have the Katusha on the field for Imperial Dane. And here comes the shots. Oh, landing right on top of everything. MG42 forced to pack off. The pack guns are moving away. Shots landing around. Oh, that's a direct shot on the pack gun. Does a little bit of damage probably to the weapon itself, but only kills one man, allowing it to back off. And we'll probably move all the way back to base and get reinforced and healed up. But yeah, we now have a Katusha. Panzer IV getting once again produced for Obscura. Feeling he has recovered enough to be able to start utilizing tanks again. Oh! Nasty mine hit there, although it only kills one, so that's quite a favorable mine hit, in fact, for Obscura. Only losing one man on that and on the retreat. But still, we see a lot of mines laid down all over the place. All over the place. Artillery field officer moving into the center point. Obscura is trying to stop that bleed. He is now down to 60 points. Imperial Dane still sitting at 472. So he really just needs to cap this center point and defend for a while, and he'll be able to just get the win straight off by victory points. Katusha barrage flying into the base, trying to nail something on the retreat. It looks like, or moving out. Does actually hit the Panzer IV, but the Panzer IV shrugs it off. And we see the Panzer IV getting that turret upgrade. More mines getting hit. Pretty sure that was a mine, and the weapon itself gets destroyed. There's another mine right there. Jeez, all over the place. That is very nasty. Very, very nasty. Pilot squad on the left-hand side is the one that is sent to capture that fuel, as there are too many mines for other troops to move in that direction. And the Panzer IV moves up. Thankfully, for Obscura, Imperial Dane has not actually mined anything, it looks like, on his side of the field. He's been aggressively mining into the enemy territory, so once the Panzer IV makes it past the midpoint, he is essentially fine to move around. Obviously, Obscura does not know that, but, well, we can see that. If it does back off in this direction, however, there is a mine right there, so that's not too good. Combat Engineer squad moving in behind the lines. Gren squad's running into it. Down goes the Combat Engineer squad. Partisans in the center, getting shot at by the Panzer IV. They're going to have to retreat as there's a lot of squads nearby. We also see the artillery field officer utilizing the concentrated fire. They fire with more accuracy and rate of fire. Su-85 now on the field, however, for Imperial Dane, so that Panzer IV is going to have a tough time. He's going to have a bad time, and the Su-85 just forces it away, down to about half health. Nasty Katusha barrages into the center. Pio squad almost goes down there to the Su-85, down to one man on the retreat. Artillery field officer going for the point. T-34 moves up and stays in the fight. Gren squad also back at the base, having forced to be retreated. And the Panzer IV is sitting in the center covering the artillery field officer as it just gets annihilated by the tanks. The Su-85 is there. Panzer IV moves up, takes a shot at the T-34, but it does not penetrate in the frontal armor. And the artillery field officer manages to get the capture of the center point, stopping the bleed at 60 points and starting the bleed Imperial Dane. But, well, that is a 400-point lead that Imperial Dane has, and, well, he has actually suffered quite a lot of losses at this point. I mean, he is down to only 2 conscript squads and 2 partisans. Yes, he can call in more partisans at any time, but, well, again, partisans are not mainline infantry, so they're not faring very well in those direct engagements. See this partisan squad right here, they're going up against 2 Grand squads, just getting wrecked. They are at veterancy 3, so that does give them a little bit of, you know, bonuses as far as, well, actually, does it give them defensive bonuses? I'm not entirely sure it does. I'll double check right now, but we'll see. Oh, nasty rifle nade on the partisan squad. Obscura knows that those are the weak points in the army for Imperial Dane, and he exploits that as much as he can. Faust going off on the T-34. T-34 a little bit damaged, but it is defended by that Su-85, so the Panzer IV cannot move in for the kill. Panzer IV still getting repaired from the beating that the Su-85 gave it, and the pack gun moves up just to be able to get in range. It actually is in range, not in sight range obviously, but it was in range of that T-34. The T-34 moves away, and the Grens move up for Obscura to be able to capture that that munitions point. Katyusha barrage flying into the center, not actually managing to hit anything. The pack gun moves out of the way. Gren's squads are sufficiently apart that the barrage will not hit them. And this squad actually moves out of the way. Okay, well, that's fine. Let's see, the partisan squad says that at veterancy 2, rifle training improves weapon accuracy, and then survivability and weapon accuracy. Okay, so they should get something. Partisan SMGs. Partisan rifle. Yeah, if it says durability, it's 30% armor, but we'll see. Still, I mean, they're not strong by any means, so. Grand Squad getting shot at by the Su-85. The Su-85 unable to really do much. The second Su-85 on the field for Imperial Dane. Not entirely sure he needed it at this point, but not a bad choice considering that Obscura has decided to go for a second Panzer IV, so the Su-85s will be able to support each other and take out the Panzer IVs. Points have been bled for Obscura. He's now down to 54, but he once again has recovered the center point. Katyusha barrage flying into the enemy territory, manages to essentially not hit anything. Panzer IV is at about 90% strength. The Pio squads are moving forward. The Grand squad is just sitting there taking shot after shot from the Su-85 and not really taking any shots. And on the far left hand side we see a partisan squad for Imperial Dane just moving behind the lines and going over for a cap. Pack gun moving back. Pioneer squad just holding in front of the enemy. Not really fearing much apparently. Left-hand side, partisans run towards the victory point. So Imperial Dane trying to go for the bleed here. He is, you could say a little bit tunnel vision there, but not exactly sure if that's fair to say. It is, you know, it's okay to send one squad behind the lines and try to go for a cap. You know, tunnel vision would be if he's just sending everything, you know, one by one, desperately trying to cap the points. So yeah, I mean, it wasn't really fair to say that. He's just trying to sneak one behind there, but Obscura knows that he cannot afford to bleed any more points, so he has an MG42 indefinitely stationed here to cover the point, which is, you know, unfortunate for the MG42 crew as they don't see too much action, but it is a very good decision for him. He could potentially, you know, decide to replace them with a bunker, but at this point, I mean, he does not have too much manpower and, you know, options as far as that goes. Imperial Dane decides to go for a T-70. Not a bad choice considering he's probably going to try to use that T-70 to go once again behind the lines and dislodge that MG42 from there. And then utilize the partisan squad maybe for capping there. So, sneaky move. Sneaky move. I very much doubt that he's going to move that T-70 into the center with all his tanks. But who knows? Maybe he does. Grenadier Squad and Conscripts duking it out at the munitions point. On the right-hand side, we have the Su-85 and the T-34 running into the Panzer IVs. The Panzer IVs notice, oh, wait, that's an Su-85 behind it, supporting. We cannot actually go head-on against that, so they decide to back off. One of the Panzer IV does take a little bit of a beating, and the T-70 does move a little bit into the center, but it goes straight at one of the MG-42s, moving it out of the center, doing a lot of damage. Grenadier Squad moving in to try to push away that T-70, but it does manage to move the MG-42 out of the way, and it opens up the center point to get capped by Imperial Dane. He does have a conscript squad on standby right there, and he's probably going to move that in a second or two. And there he goes, yeah. Panzer IVs moving around in the center, trying to see if they can catch any of those tanks out of position. Conscript squad moving straight into the center, getting shot at by the Panzer IVs. It manages to move past the point, however, so it's not going to capture it. Gren squad is running in to try to stop them from capping, but they don't really need to. T-70 getting caught by the Panzer IVs, gets abandoned. One of the Panzer IVs goes out of control, however. Su-85 is managing to do a lot of damage to it, you know, in one barrage. And the conscript squad is forced to retreat as the Su-85s just shoot at the Grenadiers and not manage to hit anything. Panzer IV over here on the left-hand side is essentially guarding the mortar and the left-hand side approach. We see a Partisan squad getting called in with PTRS rifles. They are able to do damage to the Panzer IV, however, not too much damage. Usually, I mean, for the most part, you probably want them to spawn with Panzer Shreks, but unfortunately, you know, for Imperial Dane, it is a, you know, a random spawn. So it can either be 3 PTRS rifles or I believe it's 2 Shreks, or which is 1 Shrek. I forget, but yeah, it didn't manage to do much. It did do a little bit of damage to the Panzer IV, but the Katyusha barrage that fell in did destroy the T-70 that got abandoned here. Did not allow Obscura to recover it, and he's now running in with his tanks. Oh, a pack gun on the field for Obscura. I did not see him build this. Takes a nasty shot there at the Su-85. Su-85 gets its engine destroyed. The pack gun turns around, faces its gun towards the Su-85. The Su-85 goes... No, actually gets the engine destroyed now. Panzer IV over here on the north, duking it out with the T-34. Another shot from the pack gun goes down, and the Su-85 is eliminated. More Partisans getting called in. They have PTRS rifles once again, but they jump out of the house. Not exactly sure why they jumped out of the house, and the MG-42 manages to get them suppressed, which does not allow them to finish off the Panzer IV. The Panzer IV was down to a sliver of health. They did have PTRS rifles, which, you know, would not be too much damage, but they might have been able to do that. And as they retreat through a lot of enemy troops and end up getting themselves killed. So Imperial Dane is not in a good spot anymore. He has lost his Su-85s to the pack gun, also lost his T-34, and Obscura managed to keep his Panzer IV alive. Only thing left on the field for Imperial Dane is the Katyusha, and essentially 2 conscript squads, as another squad is a Partisan squad, but we all know how good they are. These guys have SVT rifles, which is the ones that the penal battalions use. But yeah. Katyusha barrage flying. And falling right on top of the pack gun. It is a stationary target, so it's a sure bet that you're probably going to hit something, although the spread here is not very fortunate for Imperial Dane. Pack gun did suffer some losses. It is getting wait, how could it can reinforce on the fly? How does that happen? Oh, wait, never mind. Reinforcement bunker here on the field for Obscura. Ooh, that's a sneaky play. That's very nice. More bunkers getting laid down, so yeah, he's definitely now going to be spending that manpower and getting those bunkers in order. He's probably going to go for the MG-42. Well, it doesn't actually tell me which one he's researching, but he is researching something, and I would assume the MG-42 bunker is his choice. There's a Katyusha, however, but the Katyusha will not be able to get too many hits on it very quickly. And, wow, I mean, Imperial Dane has lost pretty much everything. He still has 370 points in his favor, so, I mean, time is on his side. But Obscura has managed to do quite a big turnaround here. And that pack gun is going to ensure that no Su-85s or anything moves up to try to dislodge him. Doctrine selection for Imperial Dane does not give him any options to get rid of that pack gun, so that's even worse. Gee, this is not looking good. MG42 in the center. Well, MG42 bunker, that I should say. Stopping the Partisan squad. Conscript squad behind it is suppressed, but it manages to crawl into a position where it can capture, and it manages to decap the point. Artillery field officer moves up, forces a retreat, and Imperial Dane throws in the towel. Not exactly sure he should have thrown in the towel at that point, but it was a very difficult position, especially with the troops he already had. I mean, the only troops he had left, and the pack gun staying alive. But yeah, that's it. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the game. If you have any positive or negative remarks, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. If you have any replays you want to send me, go ahead and send them to the email that I will put in the description. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.